Well, guys, as you've seen, we have reached the halfway point of the season, and we're right in the thick of it, especially after that big win that we had yesterday against Ilawa and Tomata. Let's take a real quick look over here at the competition and see how things are going. So everybody's played 10 matches. We've hit the halfway point. We are 1 point behind Lionheart, and that is all because they have one more draw than we do, and we lost that game instead of drawing. So we're only 1 point behind them. We have a better goal differential, and we play them. It's in, I believe, 3 matches. We can take a quick look here and see. Yeah, so we're going to play Viola Tongan, which let's go down to the correct place. There it is. We play against Viola Tongan on the road. That was a real hard-fought match in the first one. That's the one that saw the 5 goals. 4 of which were scored by NA, and yet we still gave up so much at the end that they came back to tie. And then we play Utule, which should be pretty easy, and then we play Lionheart. Now, there's a couple of things that are happening. This is one of the reasons why I wanted to stop a little bit and talk about this. Black Roses, Tapatima Youth, and Ilawa and Tomata were all unsuccessful in scoring against us. That means that we've had 3 straight league games without conceding a single goal. Now, I know that Lionheart got 3 goals against us in a friendly. I do know that it was Ikuvalu starting in goal. But despite that fact, I think that our defense is actually improving, and I think that we're doing better and better. And I really believe that we have a chance of beating Lionheart when we face them in a couple of days. And that'll be 1, 2, not tomorrow, not the next day, but the day after. That is going to be a big match. That will be the second of the biggest matches here, because if we beat them, we have a very, very good chance of winning this competition outright. Ilawa and Tomata are 3 points behind us, and they're followed there by Viola Tongan and then Royal Puma. This is setting up to be a pretty good race, and it's really those top 5 that are the ones to really watch out for. We'll take a quick look here at the competition and let you see exactly who's in charge of everything and who's doing the best. So it is Maile here who is leading everybody in terms of goals scored. And I tell you, he's a great, great player. This is not the first time that he's done this, and it's not going to be the last either. Maile is great with 14 goals scored. He is tied it once again with Petu Poli, remember that from a while ago, and also with Jimmy Dong. I think that we did some scouting on him. Yeah, Jimmy Dong looked okay, except for he was not consistent and very susceptible to injuries. And of course, we did have Petu Poli as well, who also is very inconsistent. So Maile doesn't have those problems. Maile looks good. He's only a little bit fickle. That's not a huge problem. And he's been putting in great performances, and he can still improve a lot. He's only 17 years old. I think that we're going to be just fine with him. In assists, of course, it's been Peyton Milani, who's been absolutely on fire. We know this guy, Afa Levao, who, again, has problems with consistency. This is why I say get rid of those inconsistent players, and you'll have a very, very good squad. Maile, with the 4 players of the match, has had more of those than anybody else. And he hasn't even started in every match. He missed 2 matches here. Highest average rating as well, followed closely by Alama Atu, who's going to be a huge superstar for this club. And then Ikuvalu was tied for the lead in number of clean sheets, which is not bad at all, if I do say so myself. We are a very, very good squad this time around, and we're probably not going to hold back at all. We go look at the season preview here. It's going to show us here again, picked to finish 7th because we don't have a lot of players that are big names. Although Milo Tiatia is definitely turning into one, and Tualalele also is sort of a big name, although I've been a little bit concerned about his form since, I guess he was sent off in this match. He had a 6.9. He had a 6.5 there as well against the Tafuna Jets, and this is that match I suspended him for because of his tendency to give up penalties. So Tualalele is a good player. I like him a lot, but there's some aspects of his game that really kind of drive me nuts. 25 years old. His form has been, if you call that poor form, I'd like to see what good form is. He has had some problems, and he does have poor technique, and there are little problems and issues with his game that do come back to haunt him from time to time. But as usual, when you look at, say, the most possession, we're dominating possession in the league. We have great pass completion this time around, and that's even after going back through the tactic and taking away a lot of the special stuff that I put in that was supposed to make it so that we'd have more direct passes and do a little bit better in those terms. So that shows you just sort of how good this has been. When you look here in terms of progressive passes, we're dominating the league, absolutely. Team goals, we're dominating the league. Passes attempted, where we don't quite have that level of domination, but almost. Jimmy Feula, I was going to take a look at this and see if we know anything about this guy. We might want to scout him. And so we'll put him up there to fully scout him and see what happens, because we always want to look and see who we find who might be a good match for us. Junior Arteoni is another one who I thought about getting a little while ago, but he had a couple of problems, and so we're not going to do this, and we know already about Afa. We saw that. That's the thing. We have a bunch of good players playing on a good team. Now, you'll see there are a lot of other former PanSa players who show up here. For example, this guy, Faua Danielson, you remember him from last season. I mean, he was all right. And I guess, no, he was on our youth team the season before. He played fairly well for us. But again, the problem that we have is this lack of big matches and the lack of consistency, right? We always play big matches, and we want to have consistent players because we want to go out and win every match. We don't want to have a whole bunch of these matches where, we did okay and we came close and it was a moral victory or anything like that. No, we don't want to have any of that stuff going on. So we're going to continue to push hard. This guy, Raynal Krishna, was on our team also for a little while. He's very consistent, but he hates the big matches, and that's the reason why. I mean, if you hate big matches, go to Utolea, who's lost every match. You can go over there and hate big matches all you want. 11 goals and 10 appearances, 7.16 average rating, and that's all for a team that has been playing very, very poorly. They are in 11th place, and they keep losing, and they're going to lose again. How badly did we beat them? We beat them 5-3. Yeah, we gave up 3 goals. That was a little bit ugly, and 2 of them were to Krishna, who was trying to get his revenge on me. Fortunately, though, we were up, 4-0 before they scored even the first of those goals, so that shows you just how good we are. And that's the way that things have been here so far this season. When we look over here at the Club Vision screen and take a look and see how we're doing, remember, the board only really want us to have a top half finish. Oh, they want us to be competitive in the Champions League as well, which is kind of hard to do since we weren't in it. This is where I think that there might be a problem, and we're going to have to see this in terms of the save in the long term, right? If this sort of error continues and the game continues to not recognize how we are in the Champions League, that might be a problem for the save long term. In terms of our performance, we have a B here and a B there. They're still upset about the loss to the Tafuna Jets, which is the only loss we've had this season. They were very pleased with the comfortable 3-0 humbling of Ilawa and Toamata, which is great, and then our comprehensive 5-1 triumph against Royal Puma, which shows us how good we really are. And they're kind of happy with what's happened so far. B- some matches. It's going to be B- there and then a C+ on Club Vision, unless we wind up in first place and we wind up looking like we're going to win the league. If that's the case, that'll be an A+. And then we're going to look really, really good. And other stuff to look at that doesn't really matter. Finances, I mean, 78,000 euro overall balance. It's because we have no expenditures. I've gone over this before. We get nothing but gate receipts. We weren't in the Champions League. It didn't matter. We kept earning money. We have no loans. We have sponsors. That's where a lot of that money ends up coming from, and that will continue to go up. And we're going to see more and more money come into this club as time goes on. Eventually, we're going to go to semi-pro status, but it's not quite that time yet. So that tells you what's going on. I have tried, that's not what I'm looking for. I have tried here to ask for better training facilities and to ask for other stuff. They don't care. Here, I'll try for another coaching course. I thought that was already on one. Maybe I won the coaching course and I forgot all about it. So we can at least do that and try to keep the story going. The other thing to look at here really quickly is the transfers we have coming in. So we do have some defenders coming in and other players. Not all of these have been fully scouted, so there were a couple of these guys who I just decided to go after. Usually the ones I just went after are on Ilawa and Toamata because I wanted to shake things up on their squad, right? The other ones, like this guy, Walter Maile, looks really, really good. Somewhat good personality. Lighthearted isn't that bad. You get a lot of model citizens who hop back and forth between being lighthearted. He's an aggressor as a defender, which will be interesting to see. Then the other one I want to look at here was Chris Moe, who is fairly professional, which is a good thing in itself. We're going to have Caressa come on over. Not a great personality, unfortunately, but he's consistent. We'll see what he's able to do for us. This guy, Tagai, we didn't even look at him. He's just played a lot of matches for them, so we've brought him over. And then we do have a striker here, this Caressa, Paneta Caressa, who also we didn't really look at that closely. I don't know why I decided to sign this guy. It was probably just because I could. I have no idea. Anyway, he's going to come on board. As is usually the case when these guys come on board, if they end up being disappointing, we're not going to worry about it. We're just going to get rid of them because we can. We don't have to worry too much about guys like that. We can get rid of whoever we want to. Nobody's going to ask any questions. Nobody's asked any questions of this club at all. And Anyway, the reason why I bring all of that up is because when you look at our schedule, this is the transfer deadline day, which means that we'll have at least 1, 2, 3. I think it's the 24th those players come in. So we'll have the final 3 matches of the season with our new squad and with new players. If we can win our way out up until then, we might be able to clinch the title sometime around here. And we might have better players as a result. And at the same time, of course, we are scouting as much as we can. Our scouts are trying to do the best that they can with all of the priorities I've given them, all 227 of them, right? Okay, these guys who are coming over, we don't really have to look at them, right? It's okay. We don't have to have them scouted because they're going to come over anyway. You're not going to show me anything new. But the nice thing about going through this and looking at these guys as much as we can is that when it is time to bring them over, or when it is time to have the transfer season open, we might be able to just bring these players straight on over. Unfortunately, we can't get Nauer. He's the one who I've been looking for the most, and we're not going to be able to get him. Antonio Poli really is the one who I wanted to get, although unambitious is not great. He's over playing semi-pro ball right now, which means that we would have to actually spend money on him. That's not going to happen anytime soon. And then this guy, Milani, who's 18 years old, I don't think he wants to sign for us. No, he doesn't. Doesn't think that our game is big enough. Maybe if we end up winning the league, though, we'll be able to get him. So all in all, I mean, this is really a video to show you that we do have a bright future here and things are moving up here for the club. We'll see what happens in the future. I don't know exactly what's going to happen in this next match, but if we're able to win this next one, I do think that we'll be able to make some good progress, and I think that the sky is the limit as far as PanSa East FC is concerned. Right now, I think we're going to win the league, and you heard that here first. Let's go out there, let's win the league, and let's get back into the Champions League. Let's hope the Football Manager is kind and actually lets me manage the games this time around, and once we've done that, who knows what's going to happen. I will talk with you later. Bye-bye.